there's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. I like political ads because political ads are kind of like the final end product distillation visually of what your campaign is truly about, right? If your campaign is about fear and anger and angst, then your political ads are going to kind of look like a horror film. And if your campaign is about uplifting and happiness and joy and optimism, there's going to sort of be like that tone struck. And if there's something a little more subtle in between, well, the political ads are like where all the consultants, all the messengers, and all the people get together and like craft a sort of vision for the campaign. And so I think political ads are very telling. It makes me a bit of a nerd, but it also makes a very simple point as to what each party believes they can run on. And given the fact that it is January 6th today, it's very interesting that multiple Democrats decided to launch campaign ads like this.
My role was as a Capitol police officer.
Oh, wow. Is that January 6th?
And that meant putting aside who I am. A father, a Marylander, a Democrat, because I swore an oath.
Wow, this is exactly what January 6th looks like.
To protect our democracy. It's what allowed me to protect some members of Congress who I knew were bigots, who helped fan the flames
ripping the photo
that
off the
started
wall.
all of this. I put country above self. The problem
Very
is,
interesting.
a lot of them didn't. Some of the same people who stood behind us when we protected them went back on the floor of Congress and stood behind Trump. They voted to acquit him. And worst of all, they denied the violence and trauma that led to the death of some of my fellow officers.
Okay, enough of the like fan fiction, the like feverish, wet, like psychotic fan fiction dream of Adam Kinzinger in a skin suit and Liz Cheney in a skin suit spooning together. Okay, like enough of this. This is like the imagery though that Democrats wish to project, because Democrats needed the centrally planned, centrally federally organized January 6th riot in order to create a projection of MAGA as something other than an inspirational movement. And you've seen Democrat after Democrat. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Democrat after Democrat after Democrat trying to remake January 6th like into like a Hollywood version of, again, their fever dream. Okay? So none of these images are actually from January 6th. You could actually have used the January 6th footage in your ad, but it would have looked like this.
If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in, stay inside the safety cordons at all times, and if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol Police officers. They'll be sure to point you in the right direction.
Okay. Yeah.
And be sure to set aside a little time today to join us for some insurrection activities, including our photography tour, our fancy dress competition, and have a go on our climbing wall. But don't forget those safety ropes.
Okay, so you get the point, right? Like you could see the full meme on our X account. Amazing meme, by the way, by Steven Voiceover. So you could, the point is that Democrats obviously have a holy sacrament inside of their new woke religion without God, which is a religion to worship themselves and to worship their own power. And the way that they get that holy power is by taking the sacrament of worshiping January 6th. January 6th needed to be something, and it couldn't be this. It couldn't be people like kindly and peacefully wandering about the building. It had to be something extremely and exceedingly violent. It can't be a joke. And that is why Joe Biden's first ad, of course, features, you guessed it, big-time January 6th hellscape iconography. Photographic proof that Joe Biden spends too much time on vacation. Joe Biden came back from his 40,000th vacation as president, red as a lobster. He gave a speech yesterday where Jill Biden had to save him, rushed to embrace zoned out Biden after he finished speech, went into trance-like state on stage, as Joe Biden always does, turns into the Roomba, right? Joe Biden just stands and stares off into the distance. The drugs wear off. And Joe Biden has no idea where he's going, turns it back to the audience. What? But it's absolute dork. Anyway, Joe Biden released his first ad of 2024 campaign. And what does it show? Well, it shows Joe Biden's vision for the country, obviously. And here it is.
Democracy is the central issue of my presidency. I believe in free and fair elections and the right to vote fairly and have your vote counted. There's something dangerous happening in America. There's an extremist movement
There it is.
that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. All of us are being asked right now, what will we do to maintain our democracy? History's watching. The world is watching. And most important, our children and grandchildren will hold us responsible. The Vice President
Except for the grandchildren that you don't acknowledge.
and I have supported voting rights since day one of this administration, and I ask every American to join me in this cause. America is still a place of possibilities where the power resides with we, the people. That's our soul. We are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
All right. So this is being roundly panned around the internet. Obviously, this is the vision for Joe Biden. The vision for Joe Biden is half the country that refuse to vote for me are dangerous extremists that belong in camps. That's Joe Biden's vision for the nation. Okay. You wonder why they need to cling to the January 6th narrative so much, why they scream like demons when you start to learn the truth about January 6th. Biden just released first ad of 2024. The main threat to the country? You. That's right. The people who don't like Joe Biden are the main threat to the country. Biden released his campaign ad that's all about voting rights and how an extremist movement is trying to stop them. Insane gaslighting. Illegitimate regimes stole 2020 election. They want to solidify a rigged system. We will stop them. Biden looks to put January 6th at the center of his re-election message, making his Charlottesville of the campaign. To start, 2 speeches this next week in an ad focused on the riot comes after millions of dollars spent on Bidenomics ads. Biden releases his first ad, calls Trump supporters an extremist movement. Ooh, baby. You know, it really is like not the way to get people over onto your side, to call them names. And in fact, the people in the middle listen to you call their fellow Americans names and are like, no, they're not. That's just my neighbor, Steve. He's not a violent extremist. He's just my neighbor. He brought me a pie on Christmas morning. So, no, I think actually, F you. In fact, because I like Steve. Biden released his first campaign ad of 2024. J6 fear-mongering from Democrats is embarrassing. It's all they have. The precious narrative must be maintained. The message. Biden's new ad elevates the rhetoric even more from the party that is removing their opposition from the ballot. He calls you an extremist for not wanting to vote for him. Joe Biden is now trying to further divide America with a new ad that calls Trump supporters an extremist movement. If loving your country and hating how Biden ruined it makes me an extremist, then I wear that as a badge of honor. Ooh, man, how different the Donald Trump ads are. And this is, I suppose, what I wish to show you, is the ads of Donald Trump are so wildly and stunningly different. The way that the tone they carry, the feel they carry for the country, the vibe of the ads, and the hopefulness of them. I want to show you 2 Trump ads here, okay? Let's begin. I believe that the first one in order should be the one that Dan Scavino shared. This is Donald Trump's senior advisor, the guy who runs all of Donald Trump's social media, pretty much the voice of Donald Trump on the internet. So when Dan Scavino speaks, it's pretty much Donald Trump speaking, right? Sharing this heartfelt tome about Donald Trump and the man in the arena.
The test of a man is how much he will bear for a cause which he knows to be right. How long will he stand in the depths of despair? How much will he suffer and fight? There are many to serve when the victory is near, and few are the hurts to be borne. But it calls for a leader of courage to cheer the men in a battle forlorn. It is the way you hold out against odds that are great that proves what your courage is worth. It is the way that you stand to the bruises of fate that shows up your stature and girth. And victory is nothing but proof of your skill, veneered with a glory that's thin. unless it is a proof of unfaltering will, and unless you have suffered to win.
Chilling. Such a beautiful poem there. I don't know the poet, but I do know that this does remind me of the Trump campaign and does remind me of Donald Trump and his fight against such overwhelming odds and his victory. And why is Trump victorious? Well, this ad, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite, narrated by Tucker Carlson.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love him in spite of everything they've heard. They love him often in spite of himself. They love Donald Trump because no one else loves them. The country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to die in their unfashionable little towns, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden. Whatever Donald Trump's faults, he is better than the rest of the people in charge. At least he doesn't hate them for their weakness. Donald Trump, in other words, is and has always been a living indictment of the people who run this country. That was true 4 years ago when Trump came out of nowhere to win the presidency, and it's every bit as true right now. Trump rose because they failed. It's as simple as that. If the people in charge had done a halfway decent job with the country they inherited, if they'd cared about anything other than themselves, even for just a moment, Donald Trump would still be hosting Celebrity Apprentice. But they didn't. Instead, they were incompetent and narcissistic and cruel and relentlessly dishonest. They wrecked what they didn't build. They lied about it. They hurt anyone who told the truth about what they were doing. That's true. We watched. America is still a great country, the best in the world, but our ruling class is disgusting. A vote for Trump is a vote against them. That's what's going on in this country.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the vibe. This is the energy. These are the two different visions of America. One ad from Joe Biden and every Democrat running, and one ad says, "We are America. We are all great in this nation, and we should make America great together." Those are the messages. Which one do you choose? I know which one I choose, especially on today, a day when you could see the black, sick, darkened soul of your federal government and how egregiously they moved in order to make you the number one enemy in this nation. They see you as the enemy. You are far more dangerous than China, Russia, or any Iran. Give me a break. Give me a break. They're far more concerned with a populace that practices their constitutional rights to peacefully redress your government of your grievances. That's what they fear the very, very most. Let's give it to them, baby. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay based. See ya.